has got the facts for you. EX the storyteller, bringing the spark. No one does it better. EX, you've heard the rest, but she's the best. Yeah, she's the best. Oh, from ancient tales to modern schemes, unraveling truths and chasing dreams.
Rich rising. I see reparations on the horizon. So I found this on Twitter and I thought that it was really cool, right? So BT states, right, that most Black adults never display the American flag. So they do have periods of history of Black Americans sporting the American flag. However, in most recent times, our hip hop artists, such as Nelly there, Cameron, I believe, Jules Santana, New York rappers will go ahead and rock the American flag. I'm not sure about the South. We know Kanye's debacle with the whole Confederate flag. Now, some people, they're okay living next to the people with Confederate flags. I'm not that person. So I figured I'd show that today. I did promise y'all that we would go ahead and talk about Essence, but if Blue came, she wanted to talk about Nolan Wells. So I found a few videos, and hopefully that Blue, if you're in the room, can you comment? I can send you the invite to join the panel. Let me see. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to the one viewer in here with me. I appreciate you, but Blue should be on her way soon. I don't want to start that, but I do have a word from 713 Phenom. Y'all know I love his videos, and sometimes I get in his inbox like, "Can you talk about XYZ?" I sure do. Oh, also, please like, share, subscribe, and when the live is over, please check the bio for all calls to actions. One that I think you all would pretty much love to get on board with, well, all of them really, is helping our historically freedmen towns, right, that we're still primarily there, repair their water infrastructure. The fiscal year 2027 is coming up, and we are demanding, I think it's 2.4 billion, okay? So that their water infrastructure can be repaired and restored. The other one is protect the lineage, right? Africa is not our voice. Caribbean is not our voice. And getting videos, because I want to talk about AOC. She's up for re-election. I ran into CARICOM's hearing today, a whole live. I thought, shoot, what is this? Because guess who I saw there? Dr. Ron Daniels. And they said he's the representative for African Americans. We're going to talk about that later on in the week. I'm going to read the comment and then Hey, Natural Beauty. I'm waiting for Blue. So we're going to talk about that later on during the week. They did mention the AU, the African Union, and the Caribbean was very happy that the AU is allowing one of theirs to be some sort of representative as they push forward their global reparations movement, right? Now, here's the issue. Dr. Ron Daniels is a part of NCOBRA, if not mistaken. Dr. Ron Daniels is also on New York State reparations hearings. A lady asked him for an update. She was not a Black American. And the things that is going on our end, and he sat there and told them the new states that have now formed commissions. Ayanna Pressley is now in charge of the HR 40 bill, meaning passing that around. We know that needs to be scrapped. He literally sat there telling them our business. I believe, right, that it is a conflict of interest. So I went to, after we did the protest at the Negro Burial Ground, we did go to the AU event, right? Guess who was sitting there? Guess who was sitting there? Dr. Ron Daniels. Now, mind you, Dr. Ron Daniels said that during one of the New York State reparations hearings, he will not leave out Sidney Poitier's descendants, non-foundational Black American, y'all, or who's the other one? Harry Belafonte's descendants for a New York State reparations. And their descendants didn't build New York. We literally have generational New Yorkers who descend not only from Seneca Village, shout out to the ancestors who were there, and may they always continuously rest in peace, right? We also have those who were ancestors who were enslaved, those who underwent the violence and every vestige of slavery that New York had to offer. And we also have descendants of those who were kidnapped from New York and sent into slavery, descendants of the Dutch enslavement era. And you're going to tell me Harry Belafonte, like they coming to New, well, they came in that past, that sale, but it's on record. And that Nia child, okay, telling everybody, all Black New Yorkers, if this is what you want to hear. And we went over Kiana, the lady that I learned is from Long Island, and she wants to add the Palestinians and all these other people. So now we have a commissioner who told us he's not leaving out the Caribbean. He's on sitting there as a representative for African Americans. There goes Blue. And that's just ludicrous to me. Okay, let me see. I'm coming. I have to comment this. Okay, the link is for Blue. Click the link, Blue. Let me see what happens. So, to see him today at the CARICOM hearing, you know me, I kind of panic first. And then after, I go through my panic stage, I calm down, I start thinking. Before I did write for him to be offered the commission, him and Lori Daniel Favors. And I didn't get my wish, but the last business hearing, Lori Favors did say that life was lifing, so she had to leave, but she'll be back for the proposal package. So that's like a halfway wish granted, right? Let me see. Blue, did you? Well, I don't know. I got to see if you click the banner, right? If you click the link. I think it's supposed to just tell me. Let me see. Yeah, it's only me here. Okay, so I'll keep going as long as you're in the room, Blue. So that was just kind of crazy. It's like we're being railroad sabotaged. They're sending people from, and I believe Nia's being sent, right? And it's all this intersectionality going on. But since Blue is here right now, we're going to talk about Nolan Wells and his parents and his untimely. It was murder. I was going to say untimely passing, but it was not natural. Okay, there she go. It was not natural causes.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm just learning how to work my my StreamYard.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do I see you on the screen? Let me see. I don't know. Do you see yourself on the screen, Blue? Maybe behind the
see it.
picture. Let me move the picture.
Yeah, I see it
That's
behind
good.
the
Then.
picture.
Okay. Don't laugh at us, y'all, okay?
Oh,
There you go. I see you now.
okay, you see, you got me.
Yeah. Did you hear what I was saying about Dr. Ron Daniels? He's on the New York State Reparations Commission. But today I was scrolling trying to get some information or some clips
Yeah.
about AOC
Mm-hmm.
and some things about New York State reparations. And I saw him live sitting there right there with CARICOM. And CARICOM representative was like, and this is, Dr. Ron Daniels, he's the representative for African Americans. This was after they talked about the AU in, I believe, the sixth region.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So one day we're gonna have to go over that because I did screen record it. But I just feel like they're selling us out. Hey Zero. Zero's laughing.
Yeah,
Uh
I think they've been I think a lot when they go Democrat, I think they automatically sold us out when they go Democrat. It's for everybody. We got to be, and then they start talking in that all inclusive talk. So I don't have any hopes for those people. I just don't.
so the new thing I'm noticing are the progressives. So I always knew about conservatives, Republicans, moderates, extremists, Democrats, of course, independents, but the progressives, that terminology for Democrats is fairly new to me, maybe not everybody else, but they're the ones that talk about a lot of intersectionality.
Right. Right.
And that's just crazy to me. So I guess we could get into Nolan Wells, and then if we have enough time, we'll get into this here intersectionality, and we'll dig more into AOC because we talk a lot about the melanated immigrants, such as the Caribbeans and the Africans, and sometimes the Afro Latinos. But AOC is not an Afro Latino, no matter how much she wants you to believe that. She's a
Right.
mestizo at best, but her policies are harmful to foundational Black Americans. She's silent on us, or when we ask her a question or if she could back, I noticed she'll make a similar policy while being silent to us, but she makes it so broad everybody could fit into it.
Yeah, she do this all inclusive of talks. And
Yeah,
I wouldn't take AOC any considerate serious because when they asked her about her blackness, she was kind of downplaying it. So I I know where she was at. She's one of those.
that's right. And I do have a clip about that too. But let's go into Nolan Wells. You're the one who asked me to talk about Nolan Wells, right? And then I saw that you had went live on your page, but it was like 4 minutes. I was like, dang, what happened? So yeah, I know that it's something that's close to your heart, or you really want to get something off your chest. So go ahead, Blue. Tell me why you wanted to have this discussion today.
Because we have too many of our young people are getting strange fruited, and then this mainstream media is not talking about it, or they try to write it as a aside, which is not, because no black person go in the middle of the woods and straight fruit themselves. We don't do stuff like that. And he was surrounded by a group of his peers, so-called peers, and supposed to be his so-called friends, and they unalived him, allegedly. Well, that's my opinion. He was unalive, and they left him. But the story that is coming out, that they're trying to say what happened, does not make any sense.
That's true. Um, should have asked that question first, then I would have got some clips of other victims, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so now there's been at least one other case of a young man with all white friends that have been, you know, killed, right?
Yes.
And when you talk about strange fruiting, and they're trying to say that it was suicide, right? Suicide,
Mm,
seaside, S side, right? Because I don't
yeah.
know what I can say on YouTube. I know what I can't say on TikTok.
Right.
Rasheen Carter comes to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's also from Mississippi. And he called his mom. He said that there was a bunch of white men in a pickup truck, but his phone was losing charge. And she told him either to get to the police or get to the store. So he went to the store, I guess, to use a phone. And I believe that's the last time she heard from him. They
Right.
couldn't find him. And then when they found him, he was nearly decapitated. His head was nearly severed off. And then it came out that then they tried to say, well, due to the weather or something or the animals, but of course, it wasn't no proper investigation. But I got to check for an update because, and this, I got to stop with all the because and I believes and stuff. New evidence has come to light. Don't quote me on it. I'm gonna give y'all an update after I research for real. But there's Rasheen Carter. There was also, I'm going to say Stephen Perkins, but also we call modern day lynching. Police brutality is when a man is unarmed is also another form of strange fruiting,
Mm-hmm.
just modern day. Yeah. Yeah. So we do have victims. We're not going to do that. And to me, I really got to quote this. That's like saying a small hat went into the G chamber,
Right.
right? Yeah. So, as far as Nolan Wells, so there's some talk, some buzz. Some people kind of are pulling back from the case because the parents said they don't see color. Ben Crump and Al Sharpton are now
Oh,
attacked. Hmm?
I hate when they do that.
Do what?
When they start saying they don't see color.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So, there's some discrepancy about uh, his mom's ethnicity and things like that. The fact remains that I hope he does get justice. But once Ben Crump and Al Sharpton get involved, it's kind of hard. It makes the case less credible if you look at the other community and what they're saying, because Reverend Al Sharpton is known as an ambulance chaser, a race baiter, and let's face it, he sits on the phone with the AU too. So Al Sharpton is very problematic. He is an FBI informant, an admitted one, and stuff. But for now, I guess we'll go to what the parents. I have like four videos. One is the day that they did find Nolan's body, and the three other ones are of the parents and also of Ben Crump. You want to see them?
Yeah, hold on because I can't see anything. So I'll probably drop down and come back because
What
something's going on with my phone.
what can't you see? Because I
It
didn't play
it's
it.
it having me as a black screen, so I gotta fix that.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
No
fix.
problem. I'll answer some comments until you come back. Peace, Hoodoo in Louisiana Voodoo. Peace, Ali. He says a snitch. Talking about Al Sharpton. Walaikum, Walaikum Assalam. That much I know. So, yeah. So, and I did promise y'all the Essence Fest, right? We was gonna dissect the vendors who were saying they got scammed. I did find a young lady, a young influencer from Baton Rouge who went to the Essence Fest for the first time. She did emphasize that she is Black American. And she tells her experience. I got to tell you, she reminds me of Sister Halo because I checked her page, not like so much as roasting and stuff like that, but just how pretty she is and the way she had her hair and stuff. And she likes to have a good time. So then I started thinking, Essence Fest was primarily for Black American women, highlighting them, and also the local vendors would get a chance to sell their products. I'm not saying the local vendors were all women, right? But small businesses and stuff like that. And here we have our younger generation, because I am 51. So she, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So she, yeah, so she's a young lady, probably in her 20s. She wanted to go to the Essence Fest and network. It is such a shame that Essence Fest will take this turn because some vendors are alleging they were scammed. BeautyCon got shut down early. We know that Carol Wenger messed up some stuff, and the Africans want to do Jolo versus Jambalaya. Like that don't make no sense. So they are ruining a perfectly beautiful experience for our younger generation. But we could go to Nolan Wells first. Can you see the screen, Blue?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, good. So fair use.
18-year-old Nolan Wells vanished on Horn Island off the Mississippi coast on Saturday afternoon. And this morning, a body was found during the search, raising devastating fears for his family and everyone who has been praying for his safe return. Wells was last seen around 3 in the afternoon, Saturday on Horn Island, a popular destination just off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He was wearing black shorts and sunglasses when he disappeared. He had traveled to the island by boat with a group of friends for a 4th of July trip, but it remains unclear whether he ever made it back to the mainland. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department launched a search, and this morning a body was discovered in the area. The identity has not yet been confirmed. Authorities are working to determine if the body is that of Nolan. Like and share this video so every American hears this story tonight. A group of young friends went out to celebrate the 4th of July on a beautiful Mississippi island. One of them never came back. A family is waiting by the phone tonight, praying for news that never comes easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, yeah. You know what my mind is thinking? Remember Mississippi burning?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Rasheem Carter, um, Nolan Wells. I'm wondering, like, if we should start researching Mississippi, like in that manner. Like, what other cases are similar to Nolan's?
I think the whole Mississippi was one of the worst states for racism. Um, they have some of the worst sundown towns in the country. So that whole state needs to be investigated.
And we know when they ratified the 13th Amendment. So, yeah.
Right.
So, Ali, who are you talking about? You said the story about how the dad got the keys as suspect? Oh, you want to hear about the Essence Fest? Okay. We're going to finish with Nolan first, and then we'll go into the Essence Fest. So, here is his parents speaking for the first time. So, fair use.
Do you think race might be a factor?
Like my wife said, I don't want to believe that, but it's just it's so many things have happened, and so many things have been swept under the rug. Um, like I said, Nolan he didn't see color. He saw people for who they are, and I used to always tell him, "So you need to go out there close because everyone is not going to reciprocate that same love that you give." Um, I just want transparency. I just want to know what happened to my son.
Christine, why does that make you so emotional?
Because he just had a big heart. Like, to really know Nolan, to have him as your friend it was something special. People aren't like him. He was just different, and
Do you worry that he might have trusted too much?
sometimes, yeah. And that was something we always talked to him about. Um,
So, what I think after seeing that, and I'm not sure if that's the first time they spoke, um, parents know their children, right? They have certain more so than because children can't hide stuff from their parents. But I mean, as far as us, outsiders looking in. This sounds like a conversation they probably had along the way of Nolan's upbringing. His mother is either bi ethnic, biracial, or Filipino, right? Straight Asian. She seemed to lead toward more towards her Asian side before this incident, and now everybody's saying she's half black. But whatever the case is, there are certain conversations that we just wouldn't be privy to. So maybe they did have the race conversation, and that was something that Nolan did tell them.
Yeah. Um, I think what the information that I got from I think she's biracial. His mother. I think she's half Asian and half black. Um, because they did show his grandmother. Uh, I I think they, in my personal opinion, I think they get they get schooled to say that we don't see color, and every time when Ben Crump comes around, they all start talking like that. So that is something that is we I think we got to stop doing that. It is about race, especially you're in Mississippi. It's most definitely about race.
Right. So they could have been school. So Louisiana Hoodoo wants to come on the stage. Let's see. Hello. Peace.
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, and thanks for having me up. And to address the topic at hand, I want to say that now this might sound like an extreme statement, but I think we as and I think y'all use the term foundational Black Americans or Black Americans, U.S. freedmen, African Americans. It's time that we stop allowing our children to have white friends. And I'm not even saying that for shock value, but the point is, when something happens, the whites will be on code against your Black American child. So it's best to just dissuade our children from even having any white friends, really, or Asian friends, or non-Black Latino friends, etc.
Yeah. So I don't think that that's extreme when we put into perspective our history on this land, right?
Right.
And so that's another focal point of conversations, various conversations. And when everybody first saw the picture, they was like, well, what was he doing with them on the boat anyway? You know what I'm saying? So I do get it. I do get it. Having friends outside of your ethnic group can be problematic, especially. So I'm from New York City. That's one of the, one of the most diverse cities in the nation. And so I think my children's generation is the most inclusive, but even they can tell me certain things that happen with other ethnic groups. But I got to tell you, even if they are what they call Afro Latino, they can still be problematic because usually they don't identify as Afro Latino. They're just Latino until they, want something or want to relate to us and stuff. So I
I
think
agree.
that,
I
yeah,
agree.
as parents, we like Nolan's father said, not everybody's going to reciprocate the love that you give to them, and I think that our children really, really, really need to know that because Nolan isn't the only one who I've heard recently say they don't see color. Like they, for some reason, they think white kids are uh, you know, different than their elders and ancestors. But go ahead, Blue. You wanted to say something?
Well, technically, we like as Black people, our parents they taught about racism in the form of showing us like documentaries, but we were never taught to hate any other group. Like we were never taught to. to hate, but some reason every other group is taught to look at us like we're villains.
And it's just time that we just acknowledge that and reciprocate the same energy, even if we don't say that these are our enemies. It's best to at least acknowledge that these are not our friends. They definitely not our family. So let's just not associate with them. Respectfully. I mean, and I'm saying this to you as I'm literally living in Puerto Rico. And I can acknowledge that when we as see, I hope y'all don't set trip when I say this term, but this is the term that I use. I identify as African American, but I know y'all identify as foundational Black Americans. I can acknowledge that we, as U.S. freedmen, I'll use that term as a neutral term. When we go to a lot of these foreign countries, now you could argue that because we have the U.S. dollar, we're treated we're given a degree of preferential treatment. I can acknowledge that, but also I can acknowledge that, especially in Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. You know, I I would be a liar if I said that I'm treated with hostility down here. And just to land my plane, actually, and I've heard a lot of pushback from FBA people when I suggest this. I genuinely suggest that U.S. freedmen buy real estate in the nations that immigrants come to the U.S. from. Really, starting with Puerto Rico, you don't even need a passport. They are in our house, so it's imperative that we be in that house too. Really.
I'm trying to put in the universe that the territory should be sold. I live in the South Bronx. I had a chance to go to Puerto Rico, and my best friend was going to pay for a suite, right? And I was just like, not at the gift, right? In Puerto Rico probably would have been a beautiful experience, but I'm just so tired of them. I ain't never lived on a block without them. And I'm gonna say a lot of the crime that's sent to me, such as the videos and stuff, it be them. It be them. I was like, and then life did start lifing, but really, I don't know. Had it been Antigua, I would have made it my business, but she enjoyed herself. She really liked it. But I'm
Yeah.
just sick of them.
Nice.
But let me ask you a question. So you are definitely of I'm gonna say Black American. You are definitely a U.S. freedman.
For sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
So why the choice to? Are you living in Puerto Rico or are you vacationing?
No, I live in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Um, and it's literally exactly what I just suggested. The reason that I came down here, and full disclosure, I also own real estate in the states as well. But the reason that it was important for me to buy real estate in Latin America is because the neighborhood that I grew up in. See, I was born in Queens, New York, but I grew up in Maryland, and I was noticing as I got older, my neighborhood in Columbia, Maryland was being flooded by various different immigrant groups, and the largest of which was Hispanic. So I realized, all right, they are in my house in Maryland. So I got to go to their house in Latin America. So literally, that's exactly the reason, you know.
Right.
Seriously. And
Uh,
this is it to sum it all up is really geopolitics. Right now in the States, we have immigrants from all around the world that have government jobs. They are in Congress, they are in Senate, they are in law enforcement. It's only right that US freedmen that are moving abroad, such as the Passport Brothers and the other U.S. freedmen that have moved abroad, apply for citizenship and get government jobs and law enforcement jobs and legislative jobs in these countries that we are moving abroad to, just so we can have, just so we can expand our sphere of influence. I'll put it that way.
Right.
I say for those who want to do that, that's fine. And so people keep saying that Black Americans, although we have the highest like collective net worth out of all the melanated groups, um, that we are locking ourselves out of international trade. And so here's the thing: I'm delineated fully. I love my land. I'm gonna stay here. I might visit St. Thomas, St. Croix, those territories. I would go to Hawaii, but here's my thing too. For those ex who want to be expats internationally or within the territories, y'all could be our point of contact for international trade. So that way we know we're
Exactly.
doing right. We're doing our part, keeping the dollar within the community. Y'all just have whatever product it is you're supposed to have, whatever service, complete it. And I think that we should tap in with our expats more if we want to tap into the international market. But I don't want to be the one to do business with a direct immigrant because I think that they might take advantage of me. I may not have all the smarts and wherewithals, and I would feel much better putting my money in my people's hands, and then how they get the stuff done is on them. But I did
No,
my
I agree
part.
with you. I agree with you. And allow me to say this in closing before I drop down. And
No
once again,
problem.
thanks for having me up. To all the U.S. freedmen listening, I'm gonna suggest two particular neighborhoods in Puerto Rico that are majority, I'll say, American. Like when you go there, you hear English spoken more than Spanish, and the majority of the people that live there are either Black Americans or white Americans. You have Isla Verde, which is right on the beach in a city called Catalina, Puerto Rico. When I say Catalina, it's spelled like Carolina, like North Carolina. So I'm gonna say it again. Isla Verde, which is in Catalina, Puerto Rico, and additionally you have Ocean Park, which is in San Juan. And really both of those neighborhoods that I just named are actually right next to each other, but they're in two different cities. Ocean Park is in San Juan and Isla Verde is in Catalina. But when you go there, the majority of the people that live there are actually Americans, whether that's Black American or white American. They even have, American style coffee shops and American style vegan restaurants, etc. You'll feel right at home. But thanks for having me up, and much love to all of you. Really, peace.
Much love.
Peace.
Much
Much love to you too. He was selling me right there, not selling the idea to me right there, right? American this, American that, American this. That sounds
I think
interesting.
I agree with him on when he talk about buying land in other people's home. But the first thing we have to do, we gotta start here first. We gotta start at home first, and then we go outside of our nation and start buying up land and make sure that we can own that land, not just a lease. You know how the Africans like to play in those Black Americans that thought they bought land over there.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. So I have a statement here from Ben Crump. Let's get into this. Dang, it is 10 minutes long, and I'm gonna let it play, right? I'm gonna just let it play. So make sure you're listening if you have to walk away from the phone. This is fair use. This is for educational purposes and purposes of critique and criticism, research and scholarship. YouTube. Fair use.
Christine and Elmo got the worst news of their life on what was supposed to be a joyous occasion where everybody was celebrating the 4th of July weekend. I'm attorney Ben Crump, along with attorney Lisa Park and Jared Presson and Camila Moore. We have the honor and the privilege of helping to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men. The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that, oh, it was nothing wrong, no foul play, let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We're going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because Nolan deserves it. You're going to hear his mother and father talk about what a wonderful young man he was. I mean, doing everything right. Reverend Al, he was not only a college student, he was a great athlete. He was a model big brother for his brothers and little brothers and sisters, and he was a great son who was on the cusp of becoming a man. I mean, Christina Elmore did everything to prepare him for this moment. He was so close. He was right there. You're going to hear his father talk about him had a good football season last year, but this season he was really ready to go to the next level, to go to Division I. I mean, the highlights that you're seeing on social media of his athletic prowess, I mean, it is all relevant, because when you start talking about drowning, I mean, this is a kid who knew how to swim. This is a kid who was in tip-top shape. He was a superior athlete. And so I'm going to get to that in a moment, these glaring contradictions, but to try to say, oh, we're suggesting it was just an accidental drowning, go ahead and move on. Well, they are not accepting it. They are not accepting it. They want to know that you have not taken the path of least resistance, that you have done a full, complete, thorough, impartial investigation, because it cannot be lost on anybody, but especially us in the black community. If the roles were reversed and you had 3 young black men on a boat with a young white man, and that young white man ended up dead, what kind of...
I'm not sure. Did you want me to stop it? I couldn't turn it up.
Yeah. Because I probably, because I'm on live, I'm talking to you, I probably could, the volume probably low for me.
Yeah. I think it has, I would be able to work the features better from my laptop. I'm on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see.
Christina,
Then it got to start over.
Yeah.
Let me
No,
see if I can
Christina Elmo got the...
started.
say that again, Blue.
You don't have to start it over. We can keep on going.
Okay. What did you think about what he said? He was about to go into if it was 3 black men with a white teen, they would have been, their whole family would have been arrested, or their rap sheets and this one and that one, if they ever even, got a jaywalking ticket and stuff. That much we do know, right? But there are walls of silence when it comes to the white community, especially when they do something wrong. I remember when Tim Wise came to my attention, and a lot of people, well, not a lot, but I've heard some say they don't really like Tim Wise and stuff. But I'm talking about the time, like I'm say 2013, maybe 2015, and he was conveying that white people get away with so much when it comes to the police. A lot of their crimes, their infractions, their traffic stops even go underreported.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that is true. That is true. They do. They get away with a lot of stuff. Even with the like, I seen this video a while back of this young lady and she was dealing, this young black woman dealing with this cop. She just got off of work, and the cop pulled out her gun, and it was a female, a white female cop, and she pulled out her gun, and she asked her, "Why are you pulling out your gun?" And she was like, "I don't know if you got a weapon on you, and I'm afraid." She was like, "If you are afraid, you should not be in this line of work." They never do that to white people, they will just never pull out their guns. Like, I wouldn't say never, but they won't do that. It's rare that they pull out their guns on white tea people, because they automatically look at white people as not a threat. And according to statistic, when it comes down to police officers getting unalive, the suspect is always majority white. So it's crazy how they look at us like we're going to unalive them, when they have a large, they are more likely to get unalive like by people that is white.
Correct. Correct. But isn't there like one of the guys who was with Nolan, isn't one or aren't one of their parents a judge or something?
I heard. I'm not sure which, because I can't think of I can't think of the white boy that he was friends with, but I heard that his one of the white boys' stepmom is a judge.
You see, this is what I think it was Apple Elite. With Austin Metcalf. The father is a complete, fuck up. He's a fuck up, right? But he has ties or a friendship to the judge. That's that old Southern white stock where they are related to each other and they're gonna cover for each other, and you know what I'm saying? Blue, I
So
can't hear.
I
It's
was
okay.
something around.
Uh,
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're educated white, or they poor white, they redneck, they gonna stick together because of how our society is set. They're gonna align with each other. They're gonna get on code with each other. So while other people can be from different classes of people, of classes of black people, we will go odds with each other because how much they make. White people, they rarely do that. Yeah, they talk about eating the rich, but when it comes down to maintaining the system of white supremacy, they going to um stick by each other. And it doesn't matter if they're women, if they don't, it doesn't matter if they're a woman, it doesn't matter if they part of the rainbow community, it doesn't matter if they are Democrats or Republican. They're not going to dismantle the system of white supremacy because they benefit from it.
right now, it's important for me to make this distinction. I wasn't talking about just, and for everybody who's going to hear this, I wasn't talking about the Ellis Island babies. They different. I was talking about the Anglos, the antebellums, the Mayflower descendants. Everybody who, some will joke, right, and say they're foundational white Americans.
Right.
That stock, that, and would you say, Blue, that stock is who upholds white tea supremacy more so than the Ellis Island babies?
I'm gonna say yes and no. They still hold on to the thread of the system that was built in the United States, but at the same time, the ones that are pushing it more is the Ellis Island babies, because those white people that was here, they don't need to have to prove themselves. They know their ancestry and their ancestry that built this country. It's these other white tea people that came in afterwards that actually pushing it forward. And that's why
Uh,
I always, when we get into a conversation or a debate with these white tea people, and they come into our lives on either on TikTok, and the first thing I ask them, are you, are you a Ellis Island baby, or you were already here during the Mayflower and this during the colonies? And it's most likely always a Ellis Island
And they are the ones who are against reparations, right? The
baby.
most.
Yeah, the most.
So that leads me into this, and then we'll go into the last video I have of Nolan Wells and his parents and Ben Crump. So, Mitch McConnell, he was MIA for a while after a medical event. It wasn't on my bingo card for Lindsey Graham to kick the bucket, but he did. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham both are descendants of U.S. chattel enslavers, and they're very anti-reparations for foundational Black Americans. Now, when I looked into it before any of the transitionings of those folks, it's said to be 100 known representatives in our government who descend from enslavers. Many are anti-reparations, but there's a lady who is, well, what she did was 41 of those who are Black who descend from her enslaving ancestor. She got like the grandkids or something, like a scholarship type thing. So, and some other stuff, right? That's just
Mm-hmm.
what I remember. I'm looking at the melanated immigrants as if they the Ellis Island babies, and I'm like, they'll never like really get on board with us just having reparations for ourselves. They all like this Pan African type of policy and reparations and programs, unless it comes from what they think is their pot.
Right.
What if we are, because they dying out now. We got 98 now, because we gonna just say Lindsey's gone, Mitch gone. He shouldn't be in office.
They should
Look for
a long time.
right. So what if we're just talking to the wrong people? That lady knows that reparations don't have to come from an enslaver's descendants' personal wealth.
Um,
I don't know if anybody ever talked to her about a more broad type of reparation thing, but that was just a thought I had when I started realizing
if
they
if
dying.
she's making that, if she's making a scholarship, and that's her form of reparation, she got to make sure that that scholarship is going to the towards the right people. Um, that's just my opinion. It can't be going to because somebody got melanated in their skin, and this is why a lot of stuff is being taken away from us as Black Americans, is because they made it into a race thing instead of an ethnicity thing. A focus on our ethnicity, and that's what.
No, but listen, for her, for it's 41 who personally they could be distant cousins.
Yeah.
So her ancestor was an enslaver who had Black children, right? Mulatto children, biracial children. Those who descend from her personal lineage is who she helped to get some type of something set forth for their future, right? As sort of to atone. And this is what I also say, Blue. I've been a part of a lot of genealogy groups, right? And I've been saying this for a while that antebellums, not many, but there's a few antebellums who really help us with our genealogy, especially in the state of Alabama, right? So
Yeah.
they'll get up, they'll go to the courthouses to pull stuff like wills and all of that. And then you have people from Find a Grave who will, and no matter the state, if they could find the cemetery that you give them for your ancestor to be buried, they will get up and go take pictures or even see how the graves are maintained. But it's primarily women doing it. That's just my anecdotal. So it
Right.
made sense to me that it was a lady looking to repair her specific lineage, the black part of her lineage.
And I, to be honest, I think she's doing. I think more should be done, but she's is a start. She's taking an initiative to repair something that her ancestors did. Um, but with a lot of these, because there we still have a lot of slave plantations that's in the United States of America. And there was a story of a family that were, I think I will believe they were in Texas, and the family that owned the plantation and was passed down from generation was allowing the black descendants of the people that their ancestors enslaved to come on to their grounds to pay homage to their ancestors. And what happened is one of the last descendant, he sold it to an Asian family, and they denied them for coming onto their land to pay homage. And they're doing is erasing that history of those people.
That is
And
crazy.
so if we see plantations that are being sold, we have to be the ones that jump on that, because they're selling it to people that have no ties to this country. And then those people that has no ties to this country are the ones that's now doing the erasure of our history. So
Do you think they do that on purpose? Because the person who sold the property, know they have black descendants. Did they talk to the black descendants to see if the black descendants wanted
I
to keep it? Why didn't he just will it to the
I
black descendants?
I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
I think he put it up for sale. But I know that hurt, because now you can't even go where your
Ancestor.
grandmother is
Yeah.
buried.
That
And
seems like one last dig at the
that is a
family.
dig. And then they sold it to people that won't even allow you on a, like, I'm visiting their grave to see my ancestors, and you don't even know what they would do, because they would get that land and they probably dig up all those graves, and you will know what happened to your ancestor. So our history is not just being erased by the people of the descendants of the slave master. It's being erased by people that had no ties to this land in the first place. They are the ones that erasing our history now. That's why I'm looking at them as enemies. Because yeah, we can blame everything on the white, but it's not the white men that is pushing our erasure or revising our history. It's people that is not of our lineage, that are classified as people of color, that is doing that now.
Yeah. So it's like, this is what I say. We know who the main oppressor is, who created all the isms, the systems, and things like that. But the people who migrated here have become willing tools of white supremacy. But we do know white supremacy break their tools, right?
Right.
So yeah, so it's a collective effort. But the Asians, they believe in that model minority
Yeah.
theory. And in Bensonhurst, that's where Yusef Hawkins, may he rest in peace, was killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you know that while I can find black people talking about when they went there recently, and well, let me say melanated, because I don't know if they were black American, melanated people who said they felt some type of racism there. The Asians are the second largest population to live in that area. To me, if they could become the white enslaver or enslaver's
They
descendants,
would.
they would.
They would. They
Yeah.
they idolize them.
Yeah.
Because when you ask there's a video going around when a guy asks them, if you could be reborn, what race you would be born, and all the Asians saying, I would want to be white. So they want to be them.
It's probably an element of power that they thinking the white folks
Yeah.
have. And they feel that we don't have that, like we're powerless against them. But everybody should understand. our collective, our soft power and stuff. And yes, we do face some of the vestiges of slavery to date,
Mm.
but the white people do everything they could do to keep us subjugated because they know what we do when we come together. Like we are their biggest competition, biggest enemy, the ones who have successfully fought them back. That's why everybody could come here and benefit off of civil rights.
Right.
I believe that some white folks are probably happy we not out there protesting with the people of color.
Some, I would say, some white people are they rather deal with us than to deal with outsiders. And I seen it on several lives on TikTok where you have a group of white people talking. I'd rather deal with Black Americans than to deal with these other people.
And
We
that's what
we
people don't
know
get.
them,
We're still American.
yeah, and we know
Yeah.
them better than they know themselves because we've been under them for so long. These other groups don't know white people like Black Americans know white people.
That's why they call us white. They say you just
Yeah,
want to be under master. I said you fled oceans, miles. You know what I'm saying? Galaxies to just get your ass over here
yeah,
under the white man, who you say has destabilized your country. Now, let's be clear. Who want to be under the white man? Us or you? Because for the most part, Black Americans really just want to be left alone. We want to be treated fairly, get everything that we are demanding, right? As far as repair and reparative justice, and just be left alone. Like we don't want everybody bothering us. We want
yeah.
to take care of our family, have our fun with our family and stuff. We just want to be treated fairly
Right.
and equally. But everybody gotta come messing with us. You know the melanated immigrants did this to themselves, right? Because
Yeah.
we kept telling them, leave us alone. Like I was really here in New York not understanding the systemic harm that the immigrants was doing to us. Once I found out though, I was like, oh shit, fuck me or them. My people are theirs. Okay, let's get it. Cause But yeah, that's what we really want
See,
out of America. Yeah.
all we wanted, and to think about it, we don't, um, we as Black Americans, we don't push out the hate, but we will respond to it. They don't like our response. They want to abuse us and use us like the white tea people in the past, but we're not allowing that to happen. You can't. And that's why they are so upset with us, because in their mind they was like, well, you're still a slave, and we're still slaves, but we're beneath them. You were owned. But on the other hand, they want to be the slaves. They wish they were slaves in this country instead of us. The destiny swap. So they tease us about slavery, but then again, they want to be us. They wish they were the ones here instead of us. If that
Yeah,
makes any sense?
yeah, that makes sense. But I always give pushback on destiny swapping, right? Because we're people that say no weapon form shall prosper. There's songs, and I put it right there in my community post, right? What God has for me is for me. The devil can't have what God has for me. So they could try all they want, but we woke up right on time. It's frustrating. It's exhausted. Because how dare you, third worlders, right? I think,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're like in New York, Cali, maybe, and Florida, right? I'm pretty sure we didn't have these, but well, we did face violence from other communities. But even through all of that, we still made sure they were treated fairly.
Because we think about the greater good of humanity. Other people think
Mhm.
of themselves.
Yeah. And they need to stop doing that. But see, this is why we're sitting on the couch. Now, I don't suggest we sit on the couch for a midterm election because sanctuary cities got to end. We
Yeah.
have to revert back to America first. But this is why we're sitting it out. After, so if the Caribbean has and the Latinos have been in America for a century, the Asians, there was a pocket of them here during enslavement times. It's like I don't even know how to word it. It's like, oh yeah, I know how to word it. So they've been here, but they haven't been here as long as us. And they're so disrespectful. How much disrespect are one people to take?
Right.
What did they expect us to do? You think the Asians saw this day coming? Do you think the Mexicans thought that we would let ICE get at them? Do you think the Haitians thought we would not try to stop TPS? Like and what they need to do is kick themselves in the ass because it was their anti-Black American sentiments that made us sit our asses down right there on that couch.
Right. They
Huh?
thought they had the right to abuse and use us. And
Right.
black people, Black Americans woke up, was like, wait a minute, we don't have to take this from y'all. We just can stop everything. Because believe it or not, America is being held up by us. We are holding up America. And a lot of people it fails to realize that Black Americans is the reason why America is the superpower that it is.
You think they fail to realize or they just don't want to admit?
I think it's both. I
Mhm.
think they fail to realize it, and I think they also don't want to admit it.
Yeah. And Ali says white tea loves that we're not out there. White tea supremacy doesn't care about let me make sure I get this one, the opinions of immigrants and old white women. He had to put in the old white women. But they
Ali,
protect
right,
the old white women. Shit.
Ali, right on the money. Ali, you are absolutely right. They do not care.
Yeah.
They actually kind of like, you know what? I'm kind of with the blacks. I'm kind of with them. I'm on their side. Even though even though y'all still are enemy, I'm kind of with them on this one.
They'll be, they come on them panels. I remember before Trump was elected, they would come around to kind of see which way we were going with our vote or what we were talking about. And they get up there, hey, buddy, you know that, right? Yeah, I'm saying America first and stuff. But then you ask many of them about reparations, they crash out and lose their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, they know that. So I think this is what they do. They just want a fake allegiance until the country gets back under some control where the true Americans, right, are back at the helm. The
Yeah.
immigrants are in their place, whether it's back in their homeland or here, but out of our way. Both
Right.
our ways. And then they'll go back to no reparations for you, no
Yeah.
this for you.
I
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Right. I seen like years ago, like before when I think during like the pandemic when there was a racist white woman that came on. It was on Twitter when it was Twitter. I still call it Twitter, not X. On Twitter Space, and she said, even though I don't like black people, I rather have them get reparations than these immigrants getting all these benefits.
And that's
I'm
just
like,
where egg
wow.
culture is. But I think that, America could be greater. Not because they flood us with immigrants, but when they repair the foundational Black American community, it will be greater,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't really need all these immigrants in this country. We're damn near, they are destroying the Bronx is so depressed. And I started looking one day and I noticed a bunch of people on scooters and stuff. Nobody was dressed like in office attire. And I said, it reminded me, Blue, when if you were on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you see other countries, like third world countries, and
Right.
they riding around on their scooters and shit, I was like, I'm not saying it's as bad as that because we got water, heat, electricity, all that good stuff, right? But it is starting to be real dirty, and people are riding around on scooters. Like I keep asking where the pretty people at, but I don't have a nightlife, so I don't know what our sisters are doing in the clubs and stuff. I'm pretty sure they look good, but I got to tell you, the past few nights I've been going, not nights, past few days I've been going outside around the Bronx, and it's just like, ugh, even the clean places aren't as tidy as they could be.
You know what's crazy, BX? They letting all these third world come in, and America is becoming like a rich third world. They're trying to change our laws on how their country is, and everybody keeps trying to make our country a socialist country and saying, oh, socialism is better, but all these people that's for socialism never lived in a socialist country.
Yeah, hands off America. Put a moratorium up. And on that note, I'm gonna play the last clip from Ben Crump. This is considerably shorter than the first one I played. Fair use.
When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious,
Michael,
you know.
We having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of trust here that is really important. And the fact that they keep trying to say, well, suggesting it was a drowning, but nobody out there reported him drowning, it's not adding up, Michael Strahan. It is not adding up.
And honestly, we are doing this because at the end of the day, I would hope any parent would fight for their kids to find out if anything happened, what did happen. So we just want honesty and transparency. We want a thorough investigation. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else, and that's it. We just want answers.
Right. And I think that's what any parent would want, answers. And I hope they get the answers, the right answers, the correct answers, not the covered up, whitewashed, so the kids can't get in trouble. And I hope that they get justice. Whether or not the mom is Filipino or whatever, we do know that there was an element of racism simply because the father is melanated. I don't even know his type of, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they did a disjustice to their son when they said race wasn't the issue, or they don't see color and stuff like that. Everything in America, when it comes to, especially when it comes to foundational Black American, is based off of racism. And people want to throw classism in there. Okay, fine. But the primary and the root cause to me is racism.
Right.
Yeah.
This situation is putting me in the mind of Kendrick. I think is his
Kendrick Johnson.
yeah, Kendrick Johnson.
Correct.
It's putting me in the mindset of Kendrick Johnson, and how many years has it been, and we still haven't got any information what happened to Kendrick.
His sister, well, his mom is on TikTok, and his sister, I just seen a video of her, and she said no matter how long it takes, she's always going to fight for her brother.
Yeah, because the stuff we know stuff like this don't happen to black children. Like it really don't happen. The way they try to make it seem like it happened, this isn't something that's not adding up. It's not adding up. And we know ourselves, and we're telling people that things are wrong, and people looking at us like we're crazy. We've been going through this for over 400 years. We're not crazy. And people still don't, there's some people that still don't believe the things that happened to our ancestors. They don't think that stuff even happened.
Are these people foreigners?
Foreigners, white, tea,
Mhm.
they don't believe everything that black people been saying for years. They dismiss it because nobody believed them, because white society taught the world that don't trust what comes out of black Americans' mouth, even
Hey,
though they the ones that got the poison, got the sword, got the pum. But they want the other people to look at us like we are the master. The way they describe black Americans, we should be mastermind criminals. We should be having um uh uh of massacres, of us unaliving society, but we don't have that. But everybody look at us as an enemy.
what they say, I think it's a scripture. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making people think he didn't exist.
Right.
Right. That's what we have. And I want to bring another element into it. I gotta tell you, I'm starting to think that a lot of people were casting spells on us. Don't forget the whitey have their type of Wicca and all that other stuff.
Oh, I
But
believe it. I believe it full-heartedly. I believe we were the sacrifice. I believe that we were the sacrificial lamb for this nation. I believe that. I
exactly.
I
And if you look at all the well, now I'm gonna go take it from out of the white people hand. But when you go to all the melanated nations that have their own spiritual system, like we have our hoodoo, and I'm not giving hoodoo to West Africa, so don't come in here, y'all, commenting that hoodoo comes from West Africa. We will fight. We a hoodoo practitioners. Hoodoo does not use sacrifices,
yeah.
and we're not a mess. And we are like the largest, we have the largest collective net worth. I think they said if we had our own nation, we'll be like I don't want to give it a number, but we'll be up there with the other folks. And
Yeah.
those other nations just simply wouldn't. And they all have a form of sacrifice. And that's because our ancestors were the sacrifice. So they sacrificed it all. So we don't have to go around doing sacrifices and stuff like that.
Right.
All them other folks, and they ain't doing too good.
Voodoo itself, its main purpose was used for to heal and protect. That's what it was for. Healing and protection. Hoodoo was never for to be used for harm. It was used for protection and healing.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. So
That's
go ahead.
that's why a lot of voodoo priestess and priests, they can't take money. They're not allowed to take money. Um they are they only are allowed to take favors. If they do something, you have to do a favor for them, but they're not allowed to take any monetary like gain, like money. They can't take money.
Yes,
My mother grew up with a woman that lived in her house. She told me the story that was a voodoo priestess. She wasn't allowed to take money. No, not voodoo. She was hoodoo priestess. She wasn't allowed to take money. She was only allowed, like, if she needed a place to stay, people will open up their door, or if she need clothes or food, but she wasn't allowed to take money.
Did you see the interview I did with the hoodoo practitioner? I call him hoodooist,
Yeah.
Kaylin.
No, I didn't see it, but it's on your YouTube channel, right? Because I'm gonna go back. And look,
Yeah, and remind me. I can send you the link.
Okay.
Because I was asking him, I was telling him, like, a lot of the practitioners I come across and stuff, they teach like what I call the spiritual boutique way. They don't get to the foundation or the root of it.
Yeah.
And even though we do know it's closed, so we did touch on the root verse, the spiritual boutique way of teaching and learning hoodoo. So that's very interesting. I want you to check that out.
Yeah.
Reparation, it says salute, salute.
Salute.
Yep. I
It,
want
it
you to check that out. Hmm.
I definitely will. It's a very it goes very in depth, but I didn't even know that when she told me that story. And then they talked about I think she was in Mississippi. That people went to heal them. It was a voodoo priestess. It was a story. It was on TikTok, and I said she wasn't even allowed to take money either. So certain voodoo priests are not allowed to take money. I'm not saying all of them are, but certain ones can't take any.
You know, I was coming off my mic to say, well, why are they charging people today? But okay, not everybody.
Certain ones can't take money. They it's something that my mom told me. I can't remember the full story on the reason why she can't take money.
Okay. Well, I do have 2 videos from 713 Phenom, and then I'm going to get into the Essence Fest, and then we could kind of wind down.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair use.
So a while back, I did a video discussing some hidden hands behind Pan-Africanist movements, but that wasn't enough. Because it's a lot more insidious than you truly understand. Not only is it a psyop, it's one of, if not the biggest tools in the oligarch's disposal, and it's been that way for over 100 years. See, Black Americans have been completely trained to view ourselves as displaced outsiders, like we're just visiting America, instead of realizing our ancestors are from here and built the superpower. Think about it. We've been taught that our identity is this big, broad, global cloud called the diaspora. Sounds deep, right? Until you realize that this whole globalist rollout was no accident. It was a multi-million-dollar plan funded by the exact same billionaire families who are behind Wall Street, designed specifically to make sure you never look Washington in the eye and demand a specific $1 trillion domestic check they owe your actual family tree. Let's talk about the money. In the early 1900s, regular everyday Black Americans who were just a generation out of slavery started organizing. They would demand the land, cash, and their legal rights from the government. And that absolutely terrified billionaires running the country. So John D. Rockefeller's foundation, the Carnegie Corporation, and a group called, pay attention, the Phelps-Stokes Fund stepped in to run the play. I need y'all to listen to me. They poured over $300 million into the funding of major HBCUs like Fisk, Hampton, Howard, and Tuskegee. But that money was no gift, it was a leash. These billionaires literally put their own people on the school boards. They decided who got hired, who got fired, and exactly what the students were allowed to think. The rule was simple. If a Black professor tried to teach students how to legally audit America or fight for their wealth, the foundations threatened to take all the money back and close the school down. Atlanta University, 1944. W.E.B. Du Bois started publishing heavy data-driven studies showing exactly how YT banks and landlords were robbing Black workers of their local money. What happened? The YT school board stepped in and forced him out. Instead, guys like Thomas Jesse Jones at Phelps Stokes and Frederick Douglass at Carnegie used their money to steal the schools outward to Africa. Pay attention. They starved independent Black researchers of cash and instead paid massive money to fund books that reframed the massive wealth theft of our people as a soft, psychological, moral problem for YT people consciences instead of a hard legal debt that needed to be paid. In other words, they flooded the textbooks that focused on Black Americans with a global Pan-African ideology because they knew you had to start with indoctrination as early as possible. But the real action happened in the 1950s and 60s. Black activists were getting ready to take on the United States for human rights abuses and demand real domestic repair. To unalive that movement, the CIA, partner with the Ford Foundation. They literally bought plane tickets, funded massive art festivals, and paid for elite black intellectuals to fly across the Atlantic to focus on global African culture. The government realized it was much cheaper to buy everyone a ticket to a cultural festival in Africa than to have them stay home and file legal claims for the land and capital they were actually owed. They intentionally funded a global identity to hijack a local legal fight. The term African diaspora was literally made up in September 1965 by a YT British historian named George Shepperson at a conference in Tanzania. He took a word from the J's religious history and mapped it onto melanated people everywhere. So the trap was fully set. They got us to trade a concrete ancestral claim to American wealth for a curriculum of pride, folklore, and abstract global trinkets. Sounds like the DNC, ain't it? They turned our brains into global missionary mindsets so we'd step away from auditing America for what's rightfully ours. And there was nothing organic about it. Pan-Africanism is a psyop.
What you think, Blue?
He ate with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Pan-African, it really did harm us to this day. And I don't understand with all that's being uncovered, right? How people could still be Pan-African today. We don't have to wish anybody harm when we tell them hold your own nuts. But at what point in time won't they hold their own nuts? We got to stop that for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fair use. Here's the last video from 713 Phenom.
That they had. Started reading, as I mentioned earlier, books like Hide and Hog, Beyond Gumbo, about that Jessica Harris, learning a little bit about Jermaine, Creole Feast, right? And really realizing that New Orleans, at one point in time, was a French territory, right? Senegal was largely colonized by French, and it was a direct link between Senegal and New Orleans, right? So a lot of people that came from a lot of enslaved that were held in Rhode Island, which we got a story there in a dish, and I'll speak about it another time because I think it will take up all the time. But what I would say is there's a direct connection between the two, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of those people are not, and funny enough, I say this, a lot of before they arrived to New Orleans, to me, they were already Creole. Because when I think of Creole, to me, it's mixture people that come together and create something, right? So these folks were not only from Senegal, not only from Wolof, because Senegal, the native language is Wolof. They had folks from Fulanis, Andinke, Tukulor. These are all different cultures. When they came here, they brought their cultures with them. And funny enough is that a lot of dishes that we love here in New Orleans, let's just say a lot of 5 dishes that we all know that you could trace it back to New Orleans. You go to Senegal, you find the same dishes. Wow. What changes is the ingredients, but the one pot cooking stay the same. Okra, one pot. Jambalaya, one pot. Senegal, there's called, chebujin, which is known as, some people call it jollof in neighbor countries, but New Orleans is known as jambalaya. You go to Dawson, known as Hap and John, right? You go domada, which is like a tomato-based sauce. New Orleans has etouffee sauce, right? You have soup kanye, which is the okra soup I talked about. We have a beignet, which is exactly, New Orleans call it beignets. So it's like, I really feel like I'm in Senegal, honestly.
Yeah. So the lies got to get to the fried. You will not erase my people's culture under any circumstances. Now, this is the second time I've had to do this with these people. First, this African chef claims Africans were already Creole in West Africa. Respectfully, no. Mixing Wolof, Fulani, and Mandinka in Africa makes you West African, not Creole. Creole literally means born in the New World. Calling them Creole in Africa completely erases the massive indigenous American bloodlines like the Choctaw, Huma, and Chitimacha who intermarried and built this culture on this soil. How you export heritage backwards? Next, he tries to claim one-pot cooking links New Orleans directly to Senegal. One-pot cooking is a universal human reality, but the absolute masters of it in the American South were indigenous tribes storing the Three Sisters technique in clay pots long before European or African contact. Then, like they always do, he tries to bridge jambalaya to tomato-based jollof. No, sir, fix your timeline. Tomatoes are a native crop to America. West Africans were not widely cooking rice with tomatoes until the late 19th century under French colonial rule. And the Creole culture and cuisine, including jambalaya, was already underway in early 1700s. They couldn't bring a modern colonial dish that didn't even exist in Africa yet. Jambalaya is actually more of an evolution of Spanish paella using indigenous American agriculture. You understand that? Then he tries to flatten regional identity by throwing Charleston's Hoppin' John into the mix. Hoppin' John is a low-country Gullah Geechee dish of peas and rice. Jambalaya is a heavily spiced Louisiana Creole dish built on the Holy Trinity. Two completely different dishes. They are completely distinct, yet y'all reaches get wilder. He then somehow equates Senegalese demoda, which is a peanut stew, with Louisiana etouffee, which uses 0 peanuts and relies on a roux. He brings up that slimy palm-oil-filled sopu conjure, missing the fact that supu is a literal French loanword from the colonial era. Plus, in Africa, they boil okra to maximize the slime. In Louisiana and the South as a whole, we smother it to cook the slime out. We ain't eat no slime. Our ancestors used their brilliance to grow okra here, combining it with American tomatoes because the acid cuts the slime. And when okra was out of season, we used filet powder, developed by our indigenous ancestors. You will not erase my people. You will not take our culture.
Yeah,
Exactly. Go ahead.
it doesn't even make any sense, because the dishes that you try to say that came from y'all, the ingredients that y'all use is native to America. How did it come from y'all? And okra wasn't even brought over here by the slaves. It was brought over here by the Europeans. But they never talk about that.
That confuses me when they be like, oh, they have rice in their hair and stuff. And I'm like, really? So this is why, and this is also why I say I will not give hoodoo to West Africa. I'm not saying that the Africans who were captured didn't have a form of spirituality or that they themselves were not powerful. However, over here, they didn't have the same roots. How did they know the roots in a new world, the herbs, right?
Right.
So they needed the indigenous to show them certain things. It was formed here in the United States of America, just like our ethnic group. So they don't get to come and claim everything. I see people be like, oh, my head is Ifa, my heart is Hoodoo, my this, my that. No! Y'all are giving everything to Africa. And if Africa was so great, or everything came from them, why don't they have it over there?
Yeah, it would have. They would have had the cultures that we created over here. It would have been in Africa, and there's no trace of it. So we cannot give everything to Africa, because like going back to hoodoo, everything that's used in hoodoo, the herbs, the oils, everything is native to the Americas, not to Africa.
That's right.
The white sage is native to America. That's not native to no Africa.
Yeah. So I want to remind Black Americans, specifically Pan Africans, of this, and I want to remind the Africans of this too, that they are used as tools against us. That doesn't mean they fall in line with the white teeth. They need to stop taking certain positions, or at least speaking out, because they know they are quota fillers.
Right.
Fair use.
African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black.
So now, are they really coming here and doing better than us, or are they used to sabotage us? So if they didn't know, and they always take it's the white team man's country. The white team man is telling y'all not necessarily more qualified than us. They just don't want us, the true fighters, to have certain positions because they know we're going to demand fair wages.
Right. They don't want the descendants of the people that they did the most harm to get those roles. And this is why I don't do that people of color, that minority crap, because it erases everything that happened to us and what we are fighting for. And yeah, and that's a detriment to Black Americans.
Correct. And so now we're going to transition into Essence Fest. This is what happens when people lose the plot and think that because melanation, we're similarly melanated, that our cultures is the same or that we should just accept it. No, we should leave essence as Black American. But since it's been tainted, I argue that we have to start having our own events labeled as Foundational Black American. So, fair use.
I'd be like,
No, wait, fair use.
I'm starting to make these videos about Essence Fest and vendors not being paid and complaining about Essence Fest. I don't nobody want to hear that shit. We told y'all funky asses to not go down there fucking around with Essence Fest. We told Black American people that Essence Fest had been taken over, and all the proceeds and all the money, the owner has specifically said that he was sending that stuff overseas back to Africa for the fund. I forgot the name of the fund. I literally had a video go viral. Now y'all want to come to the internet. Y'all do not give these people no views, no nothing on these damn videos about Essence Fest, because black people, we try to stick together, some of us, and we try to tell y'all, like, listen, this has changed. It's no longer ours. We no longer running that. They not paying people correctly. Because in my video specifically, I said that they were not paying local vendors. This was a problem last year. Now y'all want to be mad. Oh well. You chose to do it. You chose to go. Like, we cannot keep giving empathy to black people who choose to stay involved in the system and not stick with the community. Like, you got what you got. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Right.
You agree?
I totally agree 100%. When they sat up there and played in y'all faces the first time, y'all should have believed them.
Not only that, I still come back and I still remind people we are actively delineating. Some of us are delineated fully. There's no need to think that we need the Africans to come in and we still collaborate with them or anything. We have to disassociate from them, right? And I'm going with somewhere with this, I promise. The hair braiding shops. People are still going into the hair braiding shops. There was a video of a young lady who said that the lady scratched her rear end or something. It was like really, really, it would have been comical if we were not delineating. But I even had to tell my child, because one time she came to my house with her hair done. I said, where you get your hair done from? Because she do have cousins that do hair, right? So you went to the Africans? She said, yeah. I said, if anything happens to you in the shop, the community already says, we ain't fighting for nobody. Now, I'm mama, so I might have to get out there and scrap for you, but just stay your ass out the shops. And then the next time she came to my house, her hair wasn't done. So I don't know if she really, really listening, didn't have the money to go get it done at the time, but I hope that she's listening, because even in New York, you can successfully delineate from the Africans, especially if you got cousins that do hair. What is the problem?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Flo.
Exactly. I never got my hair braided from the Africans. My hair braiding was always done by my sisters, and they were better braiders anyway. So um, I was in luck with that. I didn't have to go, and my sisters would do it. Like, I have locks now, so my sister did my locks. So I don't have to go outside of somebody else when I know somebody that can do it and do it better.
Lucky you. You know somebody in the city?
In the city in New York?
Hmm.
I wish I did.
Well, let me tell you, if you find somebody, let me know. So I do have a foundational Black American who does maintain my natural hair. However, she's in a Caribbean shop. And I want to fully, and I was okay with going into the shop because my money goes in her hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, what I'm not okay with is when we went into the Asian blackout, and now I see Caribbean businesses identifying as Black and giving pushback on why they're Black American. Meanwhile, they're opening up two locations, have staff, dedicated clients. You don't need a wealth transfer. You part of the problem.
Yeah. Because they're ciphering off of us too. They're a bunch of parasites. They're ciphering off of us, and we putting in no to that. It's not even about hate. It's about protecting our community now.
I think that we've shared enough with the Caribbean, right? Because I can look at Flatbush. So if you look anywhere in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, You can find that a lot of we had concentrated areas, we had land, everything. Some of our communities were destroyed to build bridges, such as the Brooklyn Bridge, the Verrazano Bridge. Some we were attacked, right? We know Seneca Village and all this other stuff. But then we add in the element of when things settled, and now we fight for um, integration and immigration. When the immigrants came in, especially to New York, they displaced us because they were dumped into our communities. However, they were not subjugated like us. So even if we wanted to move, let's say, to a better neighborhood or whatever, they were, or to homes, they were able to buy the homes that we were not allowed to because we were still facing redlining. So we had the Caribbean and the Latinos come in after we faced the violence from the Irish and all them folks who came in earlier through Ellis Island. So to me, they're just melanated colonizers and gentrifiers, and now they're getting too big for their britches. What the hell is a Caribbean Juneteenth? They really saying the West Indian Labor Day Parade. No, Labor Day is because of A. Philip Randolph and the Pullman Porters. They were not Caribbean.
Right. They
Right.
it's like they're trying to erase us out of our history. That's the crazy thing. And they're no better than white people at this point. Y'all doing the
So
same exact thing.
right. And this is what I say. Okay, I understand y'all came here for an opportunity, but it's what you did after the opportunity, right? What they did was practice a good, strong game of group economics because of their large social networking. So even though they were able to buy the homes, once they were able to sell the homes, they only sold to their own people, and that caused a disparity. Now, some say, and I did see a report that they are now losing some of those homes. And I'm like, y'all don't even have to send me that shit. Cause to me, it's just the chickens coming home to roost, or we could call it karma. But you don't lock out the very ones who have always fought for y'all on this land, and then expect us to care when you get done dirty the same way you did us dirty. Like, where they do that at?
Facts.
Yeah.
They are
So
in the same, they basically get in the same thing that happened to us happened to them. And a lot of the people that is they actually taking their homes, they're doing deed theft, and that's the small hats are doing that to them. The small hats.
see, yeah. I'm trying to see if I have the video, if I uploaded it. I probably have to upload it tomorrow, because tomorrow is Wednesday. But I have 3 short clips, also from Essence Fest. I believe this one is focusing on BeautyCon. Then we'll give our thoughts and we'll transition into the young lady from Baton Rouge. And before you came in, I don't know if you heard, there's a young lady. She's in Baton Rouge. She's talking about her first experience going to Essence Fest. And she emphasized, she said, I got to emphasize Black American. But when I checked her page, she reminded me of Sister Halo. And just not by the way that roasting and all of that, but just by looks and stuff like that. And looks like she was happy and wanted to have a good time. And one thing she said to me stuck out was that, she was networking or trying to network. And I said, you see how they messed up a perfectly good opportunity for those who may be of the younger generation who just want to go have a good time with their people, celebrate Black women, and network. Like, let me just go to the clips. Fair use.
To the Essence Fest, why would you play in people's face like that? Baby, they say Essence Fest shut some of those booths down at 1 o'clock and was talking about overcapacity, all type of other stuff. Why would y'all play in those people's face? They drove from all over and they flew from all over to come down here and experience that. To come to New Orleans and experience that. And y'all gonna talk about shutting down. And then I heard people were saying that you could only get in if you had a VIP pass. Now, Essence, what is going on, baby? How long have the new owner been the owner? I'm curious to know. Because I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And baby, I keep seeing a lot of videos of people talking about, oh, my experience at Essence was not that good. This was my first one and it was not good. But what I'm trying to feel like is, but what I don't understand is that what happened to management? Y'all was supposed to go in and tell them people speed it up, come up with a better plan to get them customers in and out because you have so many more customers waiting. I know all those booths did not run out of product. So baby, those people missed out on money. The vendors missed out on money, and the people y'all played in their face, they couldn't get a full experience because y'all stopped them from coming in. Girl, I know you lying. Baby.
Fair use. Woo, that sounded like screeching to my ears. I think we get the picture from that one. They wanted to show us the lines and stuff like that. And here's the last clip about BeautyCon, fair use.
Oh wow. They just shut down BeautyCon.
On the other side.
They just announced BeautyCon is closed again. Essence what?
I have two main thoughts. I'm thinking maybe they just don't care because the primary how do you call it, attendees are Black American, or because they know that they have, it's been reported that Carol Wenger had lost money, they lost this, that, and the third. Maybe they wanted to seem like it's over capacity, but that didn't look like over capacity to me from what was shown. So maybe it's a ploy to make us think Essence Fest is still doing good when in reality it's not, with hopes that next year people come out and think because they think they missed something or whatever. What do you think? It's like saving face. What do you think, Blue?
I don't think they got the numbers that that they trying to appear that they had. I think they're saving face.
Yeah. But let's listen to the young lady's experience. It is 3 parts. I'm gonna let the first clip play, and then after that, you tell me if you want to see the other two, because it's just telling about her experience throughout the different days they had there, or the different events. Fair use.
Talking more about Essence Fest, I think it's safe to discuss what I'm actually about to say. As Black Americans, we always look for a sense of belonging. And that gets tied into like our everyday living, you know, like where your kids going to school at, the daycares you choose, the work that you work at, even where we choose to go and have a good time, like clubbing, partying, or going to festivals, events. We are always seeking for a sense of belonging, especially in a country that tells us that we were brought over here, but in reality, we always been here from the jump. This has always been our land. Now, from my understanding, Essence Fest was a festival that were catered to Black American women. The vibe, the culture, the whole events of it was catered to Black American women. So the generations of like Gen X and millennials, they experienced the prime years of Essence Fest. But over the years, it started to change, and that culture started to be, Black American culture started to be stripped away from it. Seems like somebody else brought it, and now other cultures are being added to it instead of it just being specifically for Black American women. Now, I'm part of Gen Z, okay? And I know, speaking for myself and like my friends who's also a part of Gen Z, life be life for all of us. Don't none of us got it figured out. But when it's time to have a good time, and when you want to be like, when you want to go out and have a good time, you want to feel like you belong in that space. Like, this space is specifically catered to you, built for you, because we all experience this all together as Black American women living in this country. We experience similar things as Black American women all together. So to feel like something else has been stripped away from us, when the next generation can't experience it the same way the previous generation experienced it, it's like, damn, when are we actually going to have something specifically for us, and it's going to last for generation for generation for generation for generation? Because the generations before Gen Z, y'all had Freakniks. Y'all had the time of the 90s when Black entertainment was popping. Y'all had the early 2000s. Even though I was born in 97, I was young when the early 2000s, came about. But y'all still had that experience of beautiful entertainment, having a beautiful time. We seek the same thing. Nothing is the same. Nothing is the same for us. Like, everything is so different. But that doesn't mean that we can't change it, though. I believe our culture right now is lacking creativity and real art. It's time for us, Gen Z generation, to tell our story, to tell our challenges, to tell our trauma that we endured growing up. Put it into your art, put it into your creativity. We got to stop reminiscing on what things were back in the day for other generations and start creating a now for us and for the next generation to come. I'm hosting a Halloween party in the Baton Rouge area. You already know my vibe, grown, sexy, ratchet. So if you're that type of person, if you love to get dressed, get cute, and go have a good time, you would definitely want to attend my Halloween party, okay? Tickets go on sale mid-August, and I'm telling y'all now because it's time for us to really get back into creativity, entertainment. I'm so excited, and I can't wait for y'all to see this rollout of the promo. It's going to be so dope. But I'm saying this to say it's time for us to get back into our creativity, get back into our art so we can create our own spaces again. Because period.
What you think, Blue?
What she was saying, when she said it's time to, at the end, get back to our own spaces, we need to, because Essence Fest is a done deal for us. It's not the same. It's not giving the same energy because they literally try to wash the essence out of Essence Fest. So it's no point of even supporting that. We in Essence Fest was supposed to be about New Orleans culture. Like, you're not inviting the local people there. You're icing them out. And the reason why it's in New Orleans, because that's where a lot of the music, our culture, some of it came from, especially jazz. That's where jazz started. So, and for them to what they did last year, and it started the year before last. It just got laser focused last year because they were so blatantly disrespectful to try to make it center in Africa, when Africa is not the essence of Essence Fest. It's Black American culture. And they basically destroyed what made it great. So now it's a total mess, and it seemed like it's going downhill. It's not getting better.
I got called old because I was like, we need to start something new. And they was like, old people give up too much. And it was a man who identified, it don't matter. But he was, he says he's of the lineage. And I think he was asking or saying that we need to save essence. And I was like, We need to start our own stuff. I mean, the Africans already touched it. It's tainted. I mean, who does that? And you know who else needs to be canceled? BET or change the name. They have and it's not even owned by us no more anyway, right? You got people like Kaiser Nat who came there one time with the big Haitian flag and all. No, let's just stop calling things black if it's not black American specifically, because everything in this country that says black was designed for us. But I'm with you, and I'm with her too. We need new events, new award shows, new celebrations. We need new everything.
Yeah,
Yep. Go ahead.
new. Everything got to be new because yes, it Essence was organic, but the organicness got tainted with the GMOs.
That's cute. That's cute. Do you want to hear about her other experience when she
Yeah,
actually went? Okay.
you can play the rest
Uh,
of her.
fair use.
All right, so y'all, I went to Essence Fest for the first time as a Black American. Gotta emphasize on that. And this was my experience. Now, this is going to be part 3. Go catch up on the other 2 parts. They're already posted. Now, in this one, we're going to talk about what we did for the remaining of that Saturday after BeautyCon. Me and my homegirl, we went out to eat. We went and ate at Cajunlicious. They was really good, amazing. And we didn't want to go to the Saturday concert. Like I told y'all, I'm used to Baton Rouge culture when I'm going out to have a good time. I don't want to go to no concert listening to no slow music. I just don't. I feel like that's something I would prefer to do with a man, honestly, not with my homegirl. Like, we want to go out and jig, shake a leg. So, thank God Kevin Gates had a concert that same night. So we was like, we gonna do Gates Saturday night. Kevin. Now, me and my homegirl done been to about 4 Kevin Gates concerts. Kevin, this is for you, Kevin. We didn't see you in October. Why it took you so long to come on that stage? We're not gonna make a big deal, but I was very upset. Kevin. Because the thing is, like, I could see if there was a DJ that was there that could keep the vibe up. Because it was just like the same vibe that we experienced Friday at the Friday Essence Fest concert. The DJ would play Juvenile, Back That Ass Up, and then after that they playing Drake. That's why I try to stick with just going out in Baton Rouge, because we know how to, the DJs out here know how to keep the crowd going. That DJ did not know how to keep the crowd going, and our energy was up here. We was having a good time, and then it just dropped. And then we waiting 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Was it 5 hours until Kevin got on stage? The best thing that came out of that mishap was that we found ourselves in the VIP section. Yeah, we found ourselves, you know. I mean, like I said, like, I go to Essence Fest now. It's like a business trip to connect, to network, you know what I'm saying, to get to know people. But when Kevin finally did get on, when he finally got on stage, he put on the show as he always do. We enjoyed it. It was a great time, Kevin. It was a great time. But I don't know if it was you. I don't know if it was your staff, your team. I don't know if it was the venue team of why you was late. I don't know, but that wasn't cool. And I could promise you many people in the crowd was unsatisfied about that. So get it together. But it was aggravating because this is our second time experiencing this. Because Friday at the Essence concert, we experienced a long hours and hours and hours before the performers actually came out. And then you're telling me Saturday, we have to experience this again? By the time Cardi B got done performing, we was going out. We was going somewhere else. But we didn't get out that goddamn dome until 1 o'clock in the morning. We was like, you know what? We going to bed. Saturday was the same thing. Saturday, it was the same thing. The concert started at 8 o'clock. We made it there about 6 to make sure we get there early. I told y'all, I'm a very planned out person. We didn't get out there till about 12. We had plans of going out later. We was tired. Energy we were just over it. We was like, bro, this is the second time this has happened to us. Artists taking forever to come out on stage. I don't know if it's the venue problem or the artist problem, but I don't know. But y'all got to get y'all shit together, because I don't like that. I don't like that. We go hard for pre-gaming. We go hard to get in the mood, to prepare for y'all. Go hard for us too. But that was the experience with the concerts. But other than that, Essence Fest is definitely going to be a business trip for me every year. Yep. So you'll see me again. I enjoyed. We coming back. It was dope. I ain't gonna lie. It was really dope, y'all. For real. Y'all should experience it. Like, I'm still in the awe right now that something like that even exists, you know? And I don't know. It was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it. So be sure to look out on my my YouTube. I'm gonna be dropping a YouTube vlog for Essence Fest soon. I'm about to start working on it. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Mwah.
So she likes it after all that.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all be sure to go give her a follow. She's young. She wants to network and stuff. And so here, where those who want to start something new, because we're going to still boycott Essence, right?
Yeah.
Take what it was that she had complaints about and make sure that we don't do it with our new event. You know what I'm saying? She already gave us an outline of what was wrong and stuff like that. So shout out to her.
They need
Yeah,
to,
go ahead.
they need to bring back the original organizer, because it seems like y'all new people can't organize very well.
Exactly.
Seems like the organization is lacking in organizing.
Yeah, but don't give them too much, Blue, because we don't want them improving. Fuck, it's dead to us. If she want to go, she's right there. She is in Louisiana. Me and you are outsiders. So it might have felt good to see, you know, for her, the atmosphere and stuff. So I don't know. I'm still of the belief we need to do something of our own, of our essence, under our nomenclature. Yep. Do you want to get into AOC, or you think it's time to go now? What do you? Because we've been live like 2 hours now.
Do you want to talk about AOC? It's up to you.
Let me see. I guess it'll be like another 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, we could do it just to get it out the way, and then I could get some new subjects going. So fair use, y'all, fair use.
Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, often known as AOC, entered politics as a grassroots organizer, famously defeating a 10-term incumbent in 2018. Her background and the demographic shifts of her district have heavily influenced her legislative focus, which often prioritizes immigrant rights and Latino-centric issues. While born in the Bronx, Ocasio-Cortez moved to Yorktown Heights in Westchester County at age 5 for better schooling. Historically, Westchester County has faced significant criticism and federal legal action regarding its resistance to integration. In 2009, a landmark anti-discrimination lawsuit revealed that the county had consistently failed to affirmatively further fair housing. The area's history includes exclusionary zoning and a documented environment of anti-Black American sentiment, which Ocasio-Cortez has cited as a formative experience in witnessing the zip code disparity between her home in Yorktown and her family in the Bronx. Ocasio-Cortez's platform is often characterized by broad progressive goals, but the specific beneficiaries of her targeted advocacy show a clear trend toward the immigrant and Latino communities. In terms of direct legislation, she introduced the 9/11 Immigrant Worker Freedom Act and consistently advocates for a pathway to citizenship, while primarily focusing on general criminal justice reform and Medicare for all, which are universal rather than specific to the lineage of U.S. freedmen. Regionally, she led a congressional delegation to South America to address U.S. intervention and migration, but has not led a specific foundational Black-focused mission to address domestic lineage-based disparities. She is a vocal advocate for abolishing ICE and ending migrant detention, and has focused on defunding the police in a general sense, often framing it through the lens of all people of color rather than the specific history of the U.S. freedmen. Furthermore, she champions the inclusion of undocumented people in the social safety net under her Just Society bills while advocating for a federal jobs guarantee and Green New Deal, which are broad and do not prioritize foundational Black American lineage. Ocasio-Cortez has expressed hesitancy regarding lineage-based reparations for foundational Black Americans. She has stated that the infrastructure for reparations needs to be studied further, citing concerns about how to implement it. Concurrently, she has suggested that the Latino community deserves a form of reparation specifically for mass incarceration and the war on drugs. By shifting the focus from the historic debt of slavery to contemporary issues like incarceration, she effectively pivots the conversation away from the specific claim of U.S. freedmen. It is historically critical to distinguish between the legal status of Puerto Rico and the emancipation of Black Americans. The 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, was the direct legal tool for the emancipation of Black Americans from chattel slavery and was not a vestige of Puerto Rican history, as Puerto Rico was under Spanish rule until the 1898 Spanish-American War. Furthermore, the acquisition of Puerto Rico was a result of American imperialism and the Treaty of Paris. While Puerto Ricans have faced colonial struggles, their history does not mirror the 250 years of chattel slavery followed by Jim Crow that defines the foundational Black American experience. Ocasio-Cortez has been highly effective in securing community project funding for her district, with a visible emphasis on immigrant-serving organizations. She secured $500,000 for new immigrant community empowerment for construction training and $2 million for the Chaya Community Development Corporation to support South Asian immigrant housing. She also secured $10 million specifically to clean up toxic sites in Puerto Rico. When asked for support regarding specific legislation for U.S. freedmen or lineage-based Black American policy, she often remains silent or redirects the conversation to all marginalized people. The distinction between the foundational Black American community and the broader immigrant community, which includes Caribbean, Latino, and other groups, is a matter of lineage and specific historical claim. Foundational Black Americans are the descendants of those enslaved in the United States during the colonial and antebellum eras. There is no historical or legal basis for Puerto Ricans or other Latino groups to have a say in foundational Black American reparations hearings. The debt of slavery and the subsequent centuries of systemic exclusion are owed to the lineage that built the country under the lash, not to groups who arrived later under different legal frameworks, as mixing these identities undermines the specific justice claim of the Black community.
I thought it was important to go into how she was raised. If you notice, Westchester County had some issues with Black Americans, right? Right. But yet she is she had answered once about reparations for Black people that she needed to, well, Black Americans, check the infrastructure, this, that, and the third. I wanted everybody to understand that AOC is up for re-election, and all this Black and brown is only when AOC needs something. And I have examples of that, right? But any other time, and she's for Latinos and immigrants. That's why Puerto Ricans may be a territory. Puerto Rico may be a territory, but they're still technically farmers. A lot of their interests will lie with immigrant communities. I showed the other day, Blue, a Latino, right? Puerto Rican. And she was like, I don't know why Black Americans, who told them we were asking them for help? We're going to help our Mexican people. Like, she was really going in. What do you think about what you played before I get into the clips about AOC?
About what you just played?
Yeah.
When she's asked the question about talking about Black Americans, she's always pivoting. But when it's talking about Latinos, she should strictly talk about the Latino struggle. She never pivots. So that just shows me right there her anti-Blackness.
And although she's over 2 districts, no, she's over 3 districts in the city, 2 in the Bronx, 1 in Queens. Please remember, she's the United States, I think, Assemblywoman or United States representative. So she also has a hand in what happens throughout the nation. I did notice that she got $1 million for this, a few $100,000 for that. I remember sitting in 2 of her town hall calls. One, she stated she was able to get a school built for Albanian children. There are no studies going on. I never polled on anything. I don't see that proceeding on YouTube. It might be though, but I haven't seen it. Nor has people come around and say, "Hey, make sure you watch AOC's this, that, and the third," like they do to us in our reparations hearings. I was horrified when they took it off of the NewYork.gov site and put it on YouTube. But I'm gonna move into another clip. This is from another channel that I got on YouTube. and watch it because he's gonna set it up real nicely for the other clips so y'all can understand, especially where I'm going with that. I'm giving you examples of how she steers away, or she promotes only things for people of color, immigrants, Latinos. But conveniently, when she wants to vulture on, because I don't call Latinos tethers, they're vultures. When she wants to vulture onto us, she'll say black and brown or brown and black. Fair use.
Deaths are disproportionately spiking in black and brown communities, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted to her 6 million followers on Friday morning. Why? Because the chronic toll of redlining, environmental racism, wealth gap, etc. are underlying health conditions, the Bronx-born lawmaker added. Inequality is a comorbidity. Oh, she's breaking out the big words now. When people like this start using words that the average man and woman does not use in everyday conversation like Michael Eric Dyson does, that's how you know it's about to follow up with some foolishness. And here comes the foolishness. And I quote, "COVID relief should be drafted with a lens of reparations," she wrote. Oh, now you know what reparations is, huh? You see, when reparations is a talking point that only benefits the descendants of American slaves, she doesn't know what black is anymore. She doesn't know what that means. But when she can find a way to crowbar her people into the mix so that they can receive reparations, now she's all for it, piggybacking off of black suffrage in order to receive reparations for something that you did not go through.
Any thoughts yet before I move into the other clip, Blue?
It's very telling.
It-
It's very telling what that's why I don't look at her. I don't even understand why who voted for her, but you got to understand that a lot of people that are immigrants background voted for her, and she's going to do for them what she's not going to do for black people.
And for that.
Yeah, basically these Democrat people of color is telling you that they are our enemies too.
Facts. Fair use.
As reparations for slavery. But really, economically speaking, reparations are for the damage done by the New Deal and redlining, because that is where we saw a compounding of the existing inequity from the legacy of slavery, where we drew red lines around black communities and we said white communities will get home loans and they'll get access to the basic bedrock of wealth in America. And this is the thing that this will be your heirloom. And we gave white America an heirloom that appreciated over time, that people still benefit from today, and we did not give that to African American, Mexican communities, Puerto Rican communities. And so when we talk about investments today,
you saw how she tethered on the Mexican communities, and she tried to skip right over slavery. Go ahead.
I don't like how they tether on to what happened to us. That did not happen to y'all. That happened to us in this country. A lot of y'all Latinos was able to be in those all white rooms because y'all could pass. And a lot of y'all were passing. And y'all fought to be classified as white. Black, that's why. What the heck is black and brown? Y'all not brown. There's no brown people. The crazy thing is we brown too, but y'all only want to put on that y'all brown is when white supremacy start bullying y'all. That's when y'all want to talk about that brown nonsense. When it's any other day, y'all pretty much identify with the white folks. Y'all don't identify with us.
Exactly. But there's more. Fair use.
I don't want to draw false equivalence. What is happening here is not the same as what happened during the Trump administration, where they took babies out of the arms of their mothers and deported their families and permanently traumatized these children, some of whom we don't know will ever be reunified with their family again, which is a level of human rights violation that is just simply not the same. Both of these things are barbaric and they're wrong. But when you rip a baby out of the hands of a mother, you cannot draw the same comparison. And anyone who's trying to do that is doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. So I don't want to excuse any of this, but I don't think we should also get them twisted together, because one is not the same. And we cannot dust that under the rug. And by the way, those families are owed reparations.
Immigrants. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Our ancestors were, the families were torn apart, babies ripped from their hands, sold. But she said in the previous clip, not necessarily for slavery, but for the New Deal. And so we supposed to give them immigrants reparations for stuff she's telling us to forget about?
No, they don't deserve reparation because, first of all, she's lying. She's telling a bunch of lies. Those children was not ripped from those families. Those children was sent over here by their family members by themselves. Second of all, that stuff that they were showing in the media during the first half of Donald Trump administration before Biden, that stuff was happening during the Obama administration. So they need to stop telling lies and being honest with the American people. That stuff that they were showing was happening during the Obama administration.
Thank you for that. And I just wanted people to see how crafty they think they are, but we on to them. But I do have a clip showing more recently what she is up to today. Fair use.
It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama. It is time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice.
How long I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened here today.
Shout out to the content creators that allow others to download their material. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead, Blue.
I am so sick and tired of them using what happened to Black Americans for their fight. And then at the same time, when it's time to talk about how can we repair the Black American community, is crickets, or y'all want to deflect, or y'all want to backpedal. I think that's an insult to us.
It is. It really is an insult, especially when she didn't know who was Black anyway, or had to check infrastructure, and they can't. But all of a sudden now, she think we should pull up to Alabama. She gonna get her ass whooped. And so I have some response videos from Alabama. I believe this lady is from Alabama. Shout out to our southern sisters. Fair use.
It has come to my attention that AOC has made yet another boneheaded statement by telling people in New York they need to pull up on the South, particularly pull up on Alabama. Oh, sweet baby, you sweet-faced loon. That is not a good idea, and I'm going to tell you why. Listen, we know that they tell you anything because their voter base does not read or research none of that shit. So they could tell y'all anything and y'all will believe it. But I want to issue a stern warning to you. Do not take her advice and pull up on Alabama. I stated in one of my previous videos, we have these things called YNs and we have these things called rednecks, and they will not hesitate to unite and get you the fuck up out of here. Now, YNs do this thing for fun that they call Swiss cheese in your ass. And I'm going to give you a clue on what that means. That means they turn you into Swiss cheese, a colander, a sifter. They let air out your ass. They do it for fun. Don't ask me. It's just something they do. As far as the rednecks, they can hit a bird going 30 miles per hour because they were hungry and wanted something to eat. They could do it in their sleep. It's what they do. It's their way of having fun. And they will get together and get you the fuck up out of here. Now, as far as the other dangers of the South, honey, we don't want you to come down here and fall in a wild hog pen. They will never hear from you again. We also don't want you to have to navigate those bayous and those swamps because those gators get to rolling with your ass and your parents will be crying forever. Honey, it's just not a good idea. Now, also on top of that, we got the aunties down here and we're going to encourage all the foolishness to go on because we weren't bothering nobody. All right? Also, before I go, I want to let you know down here in the South, we don't call cops, we call coroners. All right? I just want to remind you of that. Now, stay your ass up there. Leave us alone. We ain't bothering nobody. And don't come down here talking about you want some kind of smoke because we're going to give y'all the smoke and you're going to be looking up wondering what happened. And when I say looking up, I don't mean off the ground, baby. No, I mean in hell. In hell, thou shalt lift up thine eyes. So, just go on. Stay up there. Leave us alone. We ain't bothering nobody. We don't want no trouble. And, don't listen to AOC ever again. You have a good day now here.
Yeah, Blue.
Yeah, they don't want to go. She's trying to roll up on the deep South. She crazy. She crazy. She better sit her New York butt down.
No, she Puerto Rican. We not giving her New York. She just here temporarily, y'all, because Trump was joking about selling Puerto Rico to the Netherlands. What will she govern then?
Right.
But listen, we're going to give a reminder because August 5th is coming up. That's our unofficial holiday, right? But shout out to the brothers out there in Montgomery. Shout out to the Montgomery Brawl. Fair use.
When they go low, I go lower.
I miss Eric Mays.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
He was standing on business.
He sure was.
Shout out to my Montgomery and that broad. That's forever going down in history.
Yes, it is. But before we close out, I want to give everybody, maybe y'all did or y'all didn't know, but I'm going to give you a little peek into what happened right before, same day of the Montgomery Brawl. Watch this. Fair use. They went and gave the ancestors their offering flowers, and I'm not sure if they have food or not. But that's what happened the same day of the Montgomery Brawl, just a little bit earlier. So, the ancestors was down there clocking them white people too.
Right, and the ancestors did the roll call, got into the people's spirits, and told them they got to do something about that.
Yes, and shout out to Only Us. He says LULAC never saying black and brown when they want something from the government. F them all. But really fast, Blue, we almost out of here. I just wanted to wrap up the AOC subject. But remember I said progressive? I don't know if I told you, but I think there's an agenda with these northern foreigners and they want to touch the South. So instead of going to what they feel is our primary migration path of North Carolina, all the progressives that I'm seeing have been mentioning Alabama, and I think it's an agenda. So I kind of want to give you a look at who else who is also a progressive who has been mentioning Alabama. Just check this out. Fair use.
I am not African American. I'm Afro Caribbean. My ancestors are from the Caribbean islands. Do not erase African American history. Do not erase African anything. If it wasn't for African American people fighting for equality, there wouldn't be opportunities for African Caribbean people, for Latino people, for different type of races, for people that probably have any type of color, period. If you have any type of skin color, any melanin in your skin, you wouldn't be able to have equal rights or to become anybody or to make money or to start new lives, start new opportunity if it wasn't for African Americans. During slavery, they used humans practically as cows and sheep, using black people as human stocks. You was treating them as stocks. You was raping them. You was doing experimenting with them. You was beating them. Let's never forget about Haiti. People really like Haiti was one of the first independent countries of slavery. Yes, they fought for that shit. Yeah, Haiti don't get their fucking flowers. We gotta give our Haitian brothers and sisters their flowers because they fought. I'm just such a history freak. I'm a real history freak.
A history freak that don't know history, accurate
Right.
history at least.
Ah,
But wait, I want to. You see, right? We're gonna talk about it in a minute. I didn't hit the Alabama part yet. This is the one. Fair use.
When it comes to slavery, if you ask a white teenager from Alabama, right? If you ask somebody that is not a millennial, that didn't probably went to school during our era where they teach you history, they don't even try to teach you the whole history. Well, in New York they did. If you ask a 12-year-old boy from Alabama, right, about slavery, they'll probably be like, oh, slavery was just free labor. It was just free labor. Why does it matter? Nowadays, black people have equal opportunities, so why does it matter? Why does it feel like, why do we got to pay them reparation? Why do we have to cater to this? Why do we have to do this and that? Because slavery, they want to diminish slavery as in it was just free labor. But slavery wasn't just free labor. Slavery was human torture. Women was getting tortured. Babies were getting killed, ripped apart by parents. People were getting raped, women and men. During slavery, they used humans practically as cows and sheep. They trade you like cows and sheep, like if you're stock. And you always have to remember, whenever the fuck they try to diminish your ancestors' pain, your ancestors' agony, your ancestors' tears into free labor, this is the reason why history cannot be erased, because they're trying to diminish your ancestors' pain into free labor. And slavery was more than free labor. It was torture. It was human torture, and it was one of the worst tortures that could ever happen in humankind history. And it's something.
Follow this page for more news like this. Thank you.
But wait, I just wanted you to hone in on Alabama, but while her mentioning it, AOC mentioning it, now listen to this lady also from New York mentioning Alabama. Fair use.
Hi, my name is Kiana. I'm an organizer, social justice activist and advocate, and a former progressive candidate for Congress. I'm here to tap you in on politics, elections, and advocacy in New York State from little old Long Island. You should know I have 3 phrases to describe my island: the Sicily to New York's Italy, Alabama of the North, the land of government. Those 3 phrases tend to paint a pretty clear picture of Long Island. Public Commission on Reparations is going to have a hearing right here on Long Island, in Hempstead to be specific. Today is Friday, May 22nd. The hearing's going to be Saturday, May 23rd, from 10 to 2 p.m. If you've been advocating for immigration, Palestine, housing, student loan forgiveness, if you've been talking about the affordability crisis, those are all issues that are directly connected to reparations. Any call to action regarding any of those issues has a foundation in land back and Black Solid and Black Liberation. You can join in person at the Hempstead High School, or you can watch on Zoom. Either way, I've been advocating for Palestine, for immigration, for housing, for climate justice. I've been doing my work. I've been doing the solidarity. I hope to see you there so that you can stand in solidarity with me and my community.
Let me ask you a question. Did you take it like she was saying that Palestine and them and immigrants should stand in solidarity, or they should be on the claim?
It's given like they should be on the claim.
Thank you. I knew I wasn't bugging. But did you hear her say Long Island is the Alabama of the North?
Yeah. She's giving me Caribbean.
Right. And it's giving agenda. Cardi B, also a progressive, AOC, a progressive. She is a progressive who ran for office on Long Island but didn't make it. Doesn't mean she won't run again. Cardi B doesn't even know her own damn history, right? And okay, yeah, we could give the Haitians 1804, but what, she's Dominican. Why didn't she talk about when Haiti invaded Dominican Republic, and for 22 years they tried to force them into labor, and the Dominicans whooped their ass every battle they had. Like, there's a reason why Dominicans don't like Haitians. Now, I'm not excusing their anti-blackness, but what we look at from the outside is surface level compared to the deep history, centuries of history between the Dominicans and the Haitians. Why she didn't talk about that? Right?
I'm so sick and tired of people trying to piggyback, and I said it multiple times on this live. I'm sick and tired of these people piggybacking off what happened to us. It's just is sickening, and y'all are no better than the white people that's trying to uphold the system of white supremacy. Because what y'all are doing is doing the same thing. By you keep on saying don't race African American history, but first of all, stop calling us African American, because that's not what we are. Do we have some African ancestors? Yes, some of us are, but we are Black American. African American was never an identifier.
But wait, Blue. She's from. You didn't see how she pivoted it when she pivoted when she said African American and then said Black people. Cardi B was raised in the Bronx. Now, Dominicans, which she is, right? We have a joke. I know Black. And some Dominicans will say, because we're not Black, we're Dominican. We go by nationality. You're Black. So why is Cardi B calling us African American if she was raised in the Bronx and she understands that we teach her people, right?
Right. So
somebody gave her a script, allegedly, because she liked to sue people. Allegedly, y'all. Go ahead.
Right. She should know better.
And she does know better. Remember her history and all this. Don't let your people or your ancestors be erased. But every time you was called out for the N-word, you were saying that you understand it's bad, but it's the language. She also said she's a Black woman. She should be, and she was born in the birthplace of hip hop. She has contributed to our erasure too, just by those 3 statements alone.
Right.
She ain't the spokesperson I want to see, but she's a progressive. who has possibly been given some lines to say or topics to discuss. And if that's the research she did, then her best friend, who I think is black, right, is probably Caribbean. And y'all need to stop calling us African American.
Right. And I'm gonna say this. I don't want nobody talking for me and my people that is not of my lineage. Because y'all are the worst spokespersons and y'all don't even know anything, and it shows how y'all really don't really know us. Like y'all think y'all know us.
Now, this leads me to a very good question. I did have a poll. Let me see if no, that wasn't the poll. Okay. Here we go. Do you think non-FBA parents of FBA bi-ethnics should speak on FBA issues? Because that's what Cardi was doing. Isn't Offset foundational Black American?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Okay. I hate assuming because in this day and time. But so the question still stands though. Do you think parents such as Cardi, who could possibly have a foundational Black American by ethnics, should speak on our issues, or should the Black American parent be called to the conversation?
The Black American parent should be called to the conversation.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And now I just kind of want to wrap it up with it's like about 6 minutes worth of videos, and I promise we're going to get out of here. But this was the segment I have for us today. Okay? Okay, good. Fair use. I want to remind everybody, pay attention, y'all. Fair use.
You're right there. I would not limit our employment demands to Negroes. I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What I'm saying is that many Puerto Ricans are mistaken for Negroes. I do not think discrimination stems.
Malcolm for the win.
We've been fighting this fight for a very long time.
Exactly. And why is always one of us at the table? Farmers, us, right? At the table talking about we need everybody and all inclusive. Because I found out Shirley Chisholm was instrumental in helping to establish the Congressional Black Caucus. And it was her who happened to broaden its scope so that it could help the Caribbean, the this, that, and the third.
And on top of that, it was Shirley Chisholm is the reason why a lot of Black Americans switched over from Republicans to Democrats.
Oh man! But check this. Go ahead.
That's another topic we got to talk about.
We can. So I want those of the lineage, and I went on YouTube and I scoured the reparations hearings, and I want our people to show AOC in them why Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and all other type of Caribbean and Africans are not going to get reparations with us, and they shouldn't even be thought of in the conversation. Fair use. Here's the other one, y'all. One moment. Fair use.
Okay. Michael Jordan.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. We don't see him, so we can get Michael Jordan. Go ahead, Mr. Jordan.
You see me?
Yes, we see you.
All right, thank you. So I am Primetime Freeman, and I would like to make some recommendations. So all proposals and recommendations from this commission and task force must include and be exclusively for the American freedmen of New York. I know the language of the bill is racial, but there is still unlimited policies for justice. Although the state has the racial language, the U.S. Constitution's American Freedmen Amendment, known as the 14th Amendment, compels this commission and task force to recommend race-neutral remedies due to the Equal Protection Clause. That being said, moving forward, the eligible community should have 0 racial identifiers to determine eligibility. This is a positive because it also compels you, the task force, to identify and grant remedy to the American freedmen class citizenry for the entire state of New York. Every and all recommendations must be exclusively for American freedmen class of New York. I love the disaggregation bill proposals. I would suggest you identify the eligible recipients on the disaggregation proposals as American freedmen and define them in terms of the American Freedmen Inquiry Commission, the Corpus Juris, Volume 27, page 895, 1922 edition, and the 13th Amendment. And to help you, I'll even say this. A term, the American freedmen, is that class of persons and their descendants who were emancipated by way of within the United States. I heard the speaker, Devon, speak on the American Freedmen Amendment, known as the 13th Amendment, Section 1, but he did not speak on Section 2, known as the Enforcement Clause. And the Enforcement Clause mandates elected officials to eradicate the badges incidents of slavery for the American freedmen class and demands this task force to use race-neutral, unconstitutional remedy for the American freedmen. In that, you should include direct cash payments for American freedmen, capital investment for business exclusively owned by American freedmen. All contracts, set-asides, and workforce must be at 100%. That number may be arbitrary, but it will be a star. And all 100% proposals will make all...
I like what he said, right?
I like what he said too.
Yeah.
His language was very clear. Our reparation of getting reparation has nothing. It is not about race, and that's what we need to start betting in their head. It's about a lineage and an ethnicity group that harms was done to them on this land during that time. If your parents volunteered to come to America, you are not qualified because you pretty much gave up your rights for that when you decided to hop on a plane or a boat to come here.
Exactly. So when he said emancipated within the USA, I was like, yes, because then that locks out all the Americas and the empire. It locks all them people out. But I got one more real quick video. I know that this may be a little surprising to everybody because when I found it, I was like, wow. So this is actually something that I want to show, that we supported the Asian community the most. The South Korean market has crashed. Some are showing empty Asian businesses, but you don't go around unaliving our children or making think pieces of how we're both headed and nobody will do the job for us that your people do as if we need you. This is how you stand somewhat in solidarity with the community that has fed you a large portion of your wealth to date. Y'all are trillionaires. So, fair use.
My name is Erin Kimura. I'm a 5th generation Chinese and Japanese American and a 5th generation San Franciscan. I'm here today to fully support Black reparations because this is the bare ass minimum. Period. The bare ass minimum. History is enough of a reason. The dehumanization that we've seen is enough of a reason for why we need redress and reparations now. This is not an impossible reality, right? We've seen this with the Japanese Americans in the late 1980s. They received, on a federal level, reparations. And the fact that black folks and our black community and our brothers and sisters are still waiting for a formal apology, I'm just going to leave that there just to simmer. And I just really want to note, especially as an Asian American woman, I would not be here if it were not for the black liberation struggle, the black freedom fighters, culture creators, and the world builders.
And that concludes my segment, Blue. So I guess we could go to final thoughts. Did you enjoy yourself?
I enjoy myself. We got to do this again. I'm gonna try my schedule. Today I just had off. I just took the day off. So
Okay.
That's schedule, and is off because today is the day. It's my late father's birthday. So shout out to him. He's with the ancestors.
Yeah.
And I really love this conversation. I think we're heading in the right place. I'm loving that Black Americans is coming together and standing on one accord, and nothing's impossible that we cannot do. So they said we would never be free, and we got our freedom. So I still believe in we're gonna get what is owed to us, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'm in full agreement. It is going to happen. So the next time that you have off, first let me say happy heavenly birthday to your dad, right?
Yeah.
And the next time that you have off, you can call me again and tell me, BX, I'm off this day, and give me the topic. You can always pick the topic and I'll add, my elements to it, and we'll come back and discuss.
Yeah, this was I like, we sat here for 2 hours, had a good conversation, and the conversation just flowed, and it was really good.
Yes. Thank you, Blue.
Thank you. And power to Black Americans.
Yes, power to Black Americans.
Black Americans.
Be one.
Be one.
Everybody else, thank you for joining us. I really enjoyed myself. And also, DiCarlo entered the chat and he says, no apologies, just results and restitution. And I concur. Please like, share, subscribe. Also, check the bio for all calls to actions. I also have my merch up there. Me and Dred had Kingpin. Did you hear me and Dred's song?
I know I didn't hear it.
I'm going to put it in your inbox. It's a contemporary gospel is what I call it. My urban fiction and my son's sci-fi. His is an audiobook. And I think I put my audiobook up there too. Also, ways to support the platform besides liking and sharing and subscribing. If you wish to make a monetary donation to support the platform, you can do so via PayPal or via Cash App, and that is also in my bio. With that said, go ahead.
You gotta get your what's that called?
Monetization.
No, it start with a P. Where people always it's on another platform where they they pay into a subscription. I can't think of the name.
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. You gotta get that.
Let me get a little familiar with this first. I'll be up here fumbling sometimes, but everybody still be rocking with me though, and I appreciate you all. Yeah. Well, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end. Be one, family.
Be one.
Breaking the EX has got the facts for you. EX the storyteller, bringing the spark, no one does it better. EX, you've heard the rest, but she's the best, yeah, she's the best. Oh. From ancient tales to modern schemes, unraveling truths and chasing dreams.